soldier told me this story. During a battle, he was with 4 men in a trench. And it seems as if this particular shell that hit killed the 4 men. He alone was saved. And he said he heard a voice saying to him, "Get out of this trench." And he crawled on his stomach across the mud to another shell hole, and as he did, the shell exploded in the one that he left. In the second hole, the second time, he heard the voice, and he left that, and the shell exploded there, and that continued 5 times. The Jew afterwards told me, for the first time in my life, I began to feel the protection of God through an angel. He said, I'd read about angels in the New Testament, but had never thought of them. And then flying. Some people are afraid to fly. You know, I think that's a terrible insult against God to be afraid to fly. Because people are practically saying to the good Lord, as long as I'm here on this earth, you can't touch me. I'm safe. So they are saying to the good Lord, you are a coward. You may be lurking behind one of those white clouds, and you'll come out and stop the propeller and send me down to the earth. Every day of my life, I always say a prayer to St. Raphael. He's mentioned in the Old Testament, as you know, as the one who traveled with Tobias. I pray every day to St. Raphael to guard me when I fly and when I travel. TWA, travel with angels. That commercial ought to get me a free trip to Newark sometime. And the good Lord has turned the beautiful side of the clouds to himself, and it's really wonderful to get up above the clouds and glorify God. We might do it here on earth. And therefore may I say to you, the reason we do not think of angels is because we do not think of God. Just as soon as we begin to think of God, or rather cease thinking of ourselves as tiny little gods, then we'll begin to believe in spirits that are wiser than ourselves can instruct and guard us. There may be a public library around the corner from you, but you do not use it, and therefore are not wise. There may be uranium in your backyard, but you do not use a Geiger counter, and you are not wealthy. There may be a Bible on your shelf, but you're not reading it, and therefore lacking spiritual inspiration. And there are angels near you to guide you and protect you, did you but invoke them. It is not later than we think. It is a bigger world than we think. Stir your soul, start a wing, and you will discover it to be the wing of an angel of God.
The oceans that touch America have many stories. One is the crossing of the Pilgrims from England to America in a small sailing ship called the Mayflower. These people sought a place where they could worship as they wished. They settled at Plymouth in Massachusetts. Winter had just set in. Their lives became filled with hardships. Half their company died. The others worked through the loneliness of winter until the warm sun of the New England springtime gave them new strength. They prayed, and their loneliness melted with the winter snows.
Friends, in a certain city, a politician was running for office, and he advertised for volunteer workers. There were so many young women appeared for the job as volunteers that there was a near riot. Were they interested in politics? No. The first question they asked was, how many men have appeared? They were part of the lonely young women of this great city. And then I know of an old woman who stays up every night until 12 o'clock to hear the announcer say, "We are now signing off. Good night, and have a good sleep." That relieves her of her loneliness. There was really and truly, a woman wrote to me and told me that my program was the only one to which her cat ever listened. So our subject tonight has to do, to some extent, with loneliness. So what's the cause of this loneliness? What are we looking for? Well, we say we're looking for God, yes. But then I know what you will answer. What does God know about loneliness? Now that's a good question. That's a good question. What does he know about loneliness? Does he know anything about the loneliness, for example, of a babe in Afghanistan who has no better home than just straw? Does God know anything about the loneliness of a mother who has to gather up a child in order to escape a dictator and fly halfway across Africa? Does God know anything about the loneliness of a man that's born on the wrong side of the tracks? Who's isolated socially from people simply because his hands are calloused with common labor and is denied decent society? Sure, does God know anything about that kind of loneliness, for example, in which one is expelled from a city, disowned by one's own people? Does he know anything about the loneliness of being deserted by friends? Does he even know anything about the loneliness of feeling doubts? Doubts even about religion, doubts even which one cries out, "Why hast thou abandoned me?" Does God know anything about these things? Yes, those are good questions. Now suppose that there was a figure that came into all of this loneliness and so immersed himself in it that he would not immunize himself from it, would not cut himself off from it. Would you, for example, be the only one on the battlefield that was whole and not help any of the wounded? And so if there was a figure that came into this world of ours and refused to isolate himself from loneliness and felt it so much that blood poured out from his body, felt loneliness so much that as if all the robberies of the world were thrust into his hands, as if he himself were guilty, that felt all loathsome carnality so much that his flesh was hanging from him like purple rags. Suppose someone came into this world and went into all of this loneliness, took it all, and was not overcome by it, but conquered it all. Then what? Then I may be lonely every now and then, but I'll not be overcome by it. Then I have a captain, kind of a captain who did presses not a button in heaven from a celestial command. But I have a captain who stumbled to a throne.
You are a loyal son of the church, the Holy Father told Bishop Sheen. You have spoken and written well of the Lord Jesus Christ. This is Joseph Campanella. Bishop Sheen's spoken and written words are a treasure for God's people of all religions. The diversity of his words reflect his certainty that it is not a unity of religion that we plead for, but a unity of religious people. We may not be able to meet in the same pew, but we can meet on our knees in the light from the shadow of the cross. Here now, Bishop Fulton J. Sheen.
Friends, you heard the subject, our two wars.
But before I get into that subject, let me tell you about another war. A little boy went to religion class, and when he came home, his mother said to him, "What did you learn today at Sunday school?" He said, "I learned about the war of Moses and the Egyptians." Well, what happened? Well, he said, the Egyptians, he said, were pursuing Moses and the Israelites. So Moses telephoned to his engineers. His engineers laid pontoon bridges all across the Red Sea. When the bridges were laid, the aircraft saw the tanks of the Egyptians coming on the other side of the Red Sea. Moses telephoned the airfield, radioed the jets to bomb all of these tanks and the army, which they did. Then when the Israelites were across, then they bombed the pontoon bridges, and Moses and the army was safe. Mother said, is that what they told you in Sunday school? No, he said, it isn't. But he says, if I told you what they really said, you wouldn't have believed me. Well, our country is something that's very dear to your heart and to mine. I wonder if it's dear enough. You know, the Greeks had the virtue of pietas, which was love of country. And love of country was one of three forms of love. One was love of God, and the other was love of neighbor, and the other was love of country. Have you ever noticed that all three pass out together? And there's no longer respect for parents, and no longer a sense of divine relationship to a Heavenly Father. There's no more patriotism. And because the country means so much to us, and as Lincoln said, we've been blessed as no other country in the history of the world has ever been blessed. It makes one feel rather tragic that we are in two wars. Two wars. One of the wars that we're in is what might be called the protracted war. The other war we are in is the insurgent war. The protracted war is one that we fight outside our country. The insurgent war is the one that is fought inside. The reason I mentioned both at the beginning is because I gave you the title of two wars. I'm going to leave it for a minute. I will come back to it. But I want to tell you about a very false concept of war that we still have in the United States. The concept of war that we have now is what might be called the theory of the intermittent war. This is a 19th century inheritance. One might almost say it is something that has been inherited from the centuries. But our philosophy of war at the present time is that war is not constant. That war is something that disturbs relatively long periods of peace. Secondly, our false theory of war is that every war must end in victory. Because we have the theory of intermittent war, if you pick up an American history, you will find, for example, our history in terms of a war, say Civil War, World War I, with the dates after it, say World War I, 1914, 1918, and so forth, World War II, and any other war that we happen to be in. You see, it's intermittent. It is not a continuous thing. Now, I wish to suggest to you, for a better understanding of our country, that this theory of an intermittent war can cause us a great deal of trouble. We must understand what is new in the world. And what is new is something that was introduced in 1917 by the Communist Revolution. The Communist Revolution introduced into the world the notion, did you ever figure out how my angel always, I never tell my angel when to clean a blackboard. Ever notice that? He always knows when to clean it, and if I don't want it cleaned, see, he doesn't clean it. Now sometimes I'll walk away, and he doesn't clean the blackboard. Not because I walk away. Funny, isn't it? When the Constitution grants rights and liberties to the citizens, it must never be assumed that the people have no other rights than those granted to them by the Constitution. In other words, simply because we have certain rights, we must never think that we have them because they're in the Constitution. No, we have them because they're divinely given.
Winter brings a holiday we call President's Day, in which we honor George Washington and Abraham Lincoln and all the other presidents who have lived in this historic White House in Washington, D.C., our place of national pride and great beauty, especially after winter, when the cherry blossoms bloom. The world is painted with pink day and night, and in the dawn's early light, our star-spangled banner, Old Glory's red, white, and blue, still waves over a land where we say, in God we trust.
Friends, the few minutes before television program begins are always moments of tension. There's a countdown, and one is always waiting for the cue to start. It reminds me of a woman in an Arkansas town, a very small town. She was trying to crash the society in this village, but her husband was not very social, so she kept him upstairs with instructions that he was not to come down to the tea under any circumstances. She invited in the ladies, and she was charming them at tea, and her efforts were just about crowned with success when a voice was heard from upstairs. It was the husband, and he was saying, "Ma, there are only clean towels in the bathroom. Is it all right to start one?" So we get the cue and start a television show. And this one is about America. Sometimes the Europeans make great fun of us. This really and truly happened to a friend of mine who was studying in Switzerland. And it seems this American had gone over for his first visit to Europe. And my friend in Switzerland, who was an American, said, "Well, how do you like Europe?" "Oh," he said, "I don't like anything about it." He said, "They're not up to date. They do not have the latest gadgets. The television not in the hotel rooms." And then he said, "Buildings are old." He said, "There are churches here that are over 1,000 years old." And then dirty. "I don't find anything beautiful here." My American friend said, "Well, don't you think Switzerland is beautiful?" He said, "Take away the scenery, and what have you got left?" There are so many things that we take for granted now that could not be taken for granted some years ago. For example, our next meal. When the pioneers had to go out to shoot it. Water. But now we take everything for granted. Light, heat, transportation, television, trains and planes. We take our friends for granted. Take people for granted. And we take America for granted. And there is going on at the present time a decline in patriotism. And in order to revive it, let me tell you some of the glories of America. I'm going to mention three. The first is the origin of our rights and liberties. Secondly, the great value that we put upon the human person. And then thirdly, what America's done for the world. First of all, the source of our rights and liberties. Where, for example, do I get the right of free speech here? Whence comes freedom of press, freedom of conscience, freedom of religion? There's an audience here in this studio. They are an assembly. Whence comes the right of assembly? Don't you think that our founding fathers had to ask themselves these questions? Well, where do our rights come from? And liberties as well. From the state? If the state gave our rights, the state could take them away. Does the federal government give us our rights and liberties? If the federal government gave us our rights and liberties, the federal government could take them away. On March the 15th, we feel it takes almost everything else away and might take away our rights and liberties. Our founding fathers had to ask themselves these questions, and they searched about for some basis and some ground of our liberties. And they looked to one theory that was being held in Europe at the time. Namely, that rights and liberties come from Parliament. Founding fathers rejected that. And then they considered another theory. That they come from the will of the majority. And rightly, they refused to accept that view. They wanted a country in which rights and liberties did not come from the will of the majority in an election. They wanted a country in which the majority would be the custodian of minority rights. And they finally found the source of rights and liberties, and they set it down in the second paragraph of our Declaration of Independence. It is a self-evident principle that the Creator has endowed man with certain unalienable rights, among which are the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In other words, our rights come from God.
Love is a garden, a tapestry of color that gives a radiance to our imagination. We delight in the flight of a butterfly who stops for a brief moment to open his wings on the petals of a rose. In the garden of our own lives, we pray that the leaves will always dance gracefully in the gentle breeze, that whisper which is the breath of God. On the 50th anniversary of his priesthood, Bishop Sheen wrote these lines: "As I work under the love of two hearts, one sacred and the other immaculate, the road, I shall follow it. The fun, I shall forget it. The cup, I shall empty it. The pain, I shall conceal it. The truth, I shall be told it. The end, I shall endure it." Now Bishop Sheen and Love is a Garden.
Friends, you've heard the title, Love is a Garden. So this telecast has something to do about love. It will touch maybe on the fine points of love, particularly married love. And it reminds one of extremes. One extreme about marriage is the story of Adam out walking after the fall of the Garden of Paradise. And he had his two boys with him, one on either side. And they passed by the wreck and ruin of the beautiful Garden of Paradise. And Adam looked in, pulled the boys to himself. He says, "Boys, that's where your mother ate us out of house and home." On that bad side of it, too, is the story of the wife who went in to get a collar for her husband. And the clerk said, "What size?" She said, "About that size." You didn't get that, did you? And then on the more pleasing aspect of marriage, President Harding was once asked, at what age do you think women are most beautiful? He said, "The age of my wife." And here I'm going to read for you perhaps a poem that you know. Elizabeth Barrett Browning's poem to her husband. How do I love you? Let me count the waves. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach. Repeating out of sight for the ends of being in ideal grace. I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need, by sun and candlelight. I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with the love I seem to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life. And if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death.
The winds lift the seabirds above the tides ebb and flow. Sunward they fly on silver wings above God's creation, this miracle place of our journey. The evensong begins in a floating sense of light. Its afterglow glimmers on the ocean's golden waves, waves which have crossed time and distance, to break in patterns on the shore of your journey. They are the sea's motion, ever constant, like the simple faith of our childhood. Let the little children come unto me. In this moment of life, there is a struggle in the human heart that only the soul and God know about. But we can soar on wings of light, above the silence, into the sun-split clouds, alone in prayer with God. Today, Bishop Sheen tells us how to keep people tuned in with empathy, along with being interested in them as people.
Friends, I must tell you about 2 letters that I received about the way I conclude the program. One letter told me that this woman had a parakeet which she trained to say, "Bye now and God love you." I have a dim suspicion that she trained the parakeet to say that to teach people when to go home. And there was another woman, a mother, who told me that her son, aged about 4, was brought to Mass every Sunday. And after the priest left the altar, went into the sacristy, he would whisper to his mother, "Mommy, Mass isn't over." "Yes, it is." 4 Sundays he said that. The 5th Sunday he could not stand it any longer. He knew how it should end. Everything should end. He stood up on the pew, turned to the congregation, says, "Bye now. God love you." This telecast, you know, is, he always tunes me out. It's not about people who are disagreeable, not that class that belonged to the Italian barber that I know of. A friend went into his barber shop and announced to this Italian barber that he'd won a trip to Rome. "Yes, how are you going?" He said, "TWA." "Oh," he says, "don't take that line." He said, "The engines always conk out, never arrives on time." "Where are you going to stay when you get to Rome?" He said, "The Excelsior Hotel." He said, "It's a flea bag, don't go there." "Where are you going to eat?" "Cesare restaurant." "Oh, they put potassium cyanide in the food." "What else are you going to do?" He said, "I'm going to have an audience with the Pope." "Oh," he said, "there'll be 20,000 screaming Italians. You'll never get near the man." 6 weeks later, he came back. "How was the trip?" asked the Italian barber. "Fine," he said. "Travel TWA, just as Bishop Sheen said, travel with angels, perfect flight. Excelsior Hotel, excellent, fine food, the Cesare restaurant, and I had a private audience with the Holy Father." "You did? What did the Pope say?" He said, "Where did you get that awful haircut?" Now, this expression, "he always cuts me out and off," is taken from radio and television. One hears it so often today. I heard a professor in a school of medicine use it. He said that as soon as he begins to talk to the medical students about the necessity of caring more for patients than just for disease, he said, they tune me up. I heard a mother say it of her daughter. I said to her, "Why do you stay out every night until 3 o'clock in the morning?" She doesn't answer me. She tunes me out. Fathers have said exactly the same thing about their sons. They just don't listen. In many people today, there seems to be a knob that's been taken off a television radio set, and they just simply tune people out. So that there's a kind of a brokenness in human relationships. Ages and classes and groups and so forth. So the problem is, how can we tune people in? Now, there is a psychological answer. But I'm going to show later on that that is not quite adequate, because I'm going to be concerned with really difficult and almost impossible cases. But what is the psychological answer to tuning people in? Well, it is establishing by the psychologist or psychiatrist with his client a rapport, developing a sympathy and an empathy between the helper and the one helped. Whenever we love, we give power. Isn't that a peculiar thing? Wherever there's love, there's almost a surrender. So there exists on this earth, and so many places in this earth, that it is a shame the press does not print those who keep the commandments as well as those who break the commandments. But somewhere on this earth, there is a love that absorbs evil. It did not come from evolution. I think that that love that absorbs evil existed in someone who in the face of deafness would sigh. Someone who in the face of death would shed a tear. And someone in the face even of the corruption of a culture, overlooking a city and a culture, might also weep. Somewhere there had to be someone who loved so much that he was helpless. Helpless. So helpless, more helpless than the mother before the infant. So helpless that nails could be pinioned against his hands and against his feet. Somewhere there had to be an open end. Somewhere there had to be an open heart. An open heart. And on one cheek there had to be gathered up all of the sorrows of the world, so that down that cheek might flow just one tear. This is where such love comes from. It is from heaven. It is from God.
Autumn brings us a special day when we thank the men and women of America, both living and dead, who are veterans, who have served this country in war and peace with amazing grace. Their service will never be forgotten nor taken for granted. As we pass into a new century, let us forever repeat the three words that have kept us strong. God bless America.
When we go back to the life of our blessed Lord, we find that the first words of his public life were, "Come. Come to me." And the last words of his public life were, "Go. Go into the world." Come first to get an idea, strength, inspiration, motivation. Then action, dynamism, fluidity, serving the secular world. This is the way the two should be kept together. When they are kept together, what do you find? I think you get modern saints. I'm going to talk about modern saints. Not plaster saints. Not canonized saints. Saints that are uncanonized, but rather those whom the world, not whom religion, those whom the world regards as saints. And their common characteristic is this. It's a phrase from Thomas Aquinas. Contemplata alias tradere. In other words, go and give to others what you have already contemplated. First the come, the idea, the contemplata. Then the go, deliver it to others. Now, quite apart from any view that you may have concerning these whom I am about to mention, about their politics, their economics, their theology, or anything else, whom does the world generally regard as the four great leaders and saints? Gandhi. That's one. Two, President John F. Kennedy. Three, Pope John the 23rd. And fourth, Hammershow. Formerly of the United Nations. Each had a great idea. Each first came. They got some contemplata. Friends, did I ever tell you this story apropos of tonight's subject? The little girl was told by her mother about all of the family problems. Jimmy had the mumps, and Susie has the measles, and Grandma had broken her leg, and she was told to pray, and she said, "Dear God, please take care of yourself, because if anything happens to you, we'll all be in the soup." But the subject is somewhat related to that. It's on God is Dead. I heard of one man who was an atheist for a year, and then he gave it up because there were no holidays. We'll try to explain to you this much discussed subject. God is dead. Now, there are two ways in which this can be understood. God is dead. It can be understood one way. I don't know how I happened to write that. My angel, leave it there, angel. The name God is dead. That is one sense in which it is used. In other words, the name God has no significance today. The other meaning of the phrase God is dead is that the reality of God is dead. In other words, God himself is dead. Here it's only the name. Now, this is one of the very popular ideas today. Why is the name of God meaningless?
I will. In the depth of my love, I have always been with you as your true father, the only one who continuously supports and uplifts you, enabling you to realize your purpose and fulfill your mission. It was I who stepped into the fray, wielding the sword of my word to rebuke the forces that sought to derail you. With a holy anointing of healing, I touched your life, setting you firmly on the path toward your destiny. In your heart, I have planted a map rich with dreams, adorned with flights of ambition, and the talents necessary to navigate your journey. I fashioned you to be my warrior, infusing your spirit with my breath, kindling within you a flame that is inextinguishable. This divine flame that burns within you is not just for your own illumination but is meant to bring warmth and light to others. I have equipped you with unique abilities and insights, tools with which you can offer solace to the nations. As you step into your calling, remember that you are equipped not just with skills but with a deep, compassionate love meant to nourish the souls of those who suffer. Each word you speak, each action you take can be a capsule filled with healing for the weary and the broken. As you traverse this world, carrying the capsules of your soul to mend others, recognize the power of the gifts I have bestowed upon you. These are not mere talents but sacred tools given by my hand, designed to soothe, heal, and restore. Your journey is not a solitary one. I walk beside you, guiding and nurturing as you spread comfort across the globe. Your mission is a testament to the love and mercy that flow from my heart, reaching out to touch lives in profound ways. So, as you continue on this path, take each step with confidence and faith, knowing that you are never alone. The map I have drawn in your heart will lead you through challenges and triumphs alike, with each experience crafted to strengthen and prepare you for the greater tasks ahead. The flame within you will grow only brighter as you use your gifts to impact the world, turning your interactions into opportunities for healing and your presence into a refuge for those in need. Remember always that you are my warrior, equipped not just to face the battles before you but to emerge victorious, bringing light to the darkest places. Grasp my hand firmly and always remember that I am here to walk beside you through every season of life. It is my greatest joy to see you flourish and achieve your deepest dreams. My presence in your life is a constant assurance that you will not only pursue but also attain the happiness you yearn for. I am devoted to caring for you, shielding you from harm, and imbuing your days with peace. Know that my love for you is steadfast and sincere, so let go of your fears, for you are never alone. As your counselor, I offer wisdom for every decision and comfort in every trial. As your friend, I provide companionship that is loyal and enduring. As your protector, I stand guard, a vigilant keeper of your well-being. I have orchestrated events both in heaven and on earth to guarantee your success. The thought of you facing defeat is unbearable to me, and to prevent this, I have already borne the cost of all your missteps and sins. Now, I invite you to open your heart wide to the grace I freely offer. Embrace the forgiveness that I extend to you, not as a distant deity but as a loving Father who desires nothing more than to see you liberated from past burdens. This is the time to let go of old regrets and accept the new beginning that my forgiveness offers. It's a gift that promises not just a fresh start but a profound transformation of your life. This transformation is not just about overcoming past mistakes, it's about stepping into a future filled with hope and immense possibilities. Each step you take with me enriches your journey, making each moment meaningful and each challenge a step toward greater maturity. As you live in the light of my forgiveness, you will find that your path becomes clearer and your heart becomes lighter. Embrace this journey with confidence, knowing that with my hand in yours, there is nothing you cannot face. Sally, you will not only endure but also emerge victorious. With each battle, your spirit will grow stronger, and your faith will deepen. I am committed to elevating you above your difficulties and leading you into a realm of victory and fulfillment. Therefore, stride forward with confidence, bolstered by the knowledge that your ultimate victory is assured by my divine promise. The trials you encounter will serve as a testament to your strength and resilience, underpinned by my eternal support. With every challenge overcome, let your heart be lifted in gratitude and your spirit emboldened, knowing that I am with you, championing your cause and ensuring your success. Together, we will face whatever comes, with you always under my protective watch, destined for greatness. Now is the moment to place your future confidently in my care and stand resolute. Today, I extend to you an invitation that is irrefutable. Commit your life into my hands, surrender your entire being to my guidance. Regardless of the challenges ahead, whether they be towering mountains or shadowy valleys, trust that I will lead you and clear the path before you. Yet, this journey demands your strength and courage. I urge you to steady your steps and prepare your heart. As you embark on this path, you may encounter times of darkness or find yourself navigating through turbulent waters. In these moments, it is crucial not to succumb to fear or abandon your dreams. The way forward is not for the faint-hearted. You must reject any thoughts of retreat. When weariness weighs heavily upon you and your energy wanes, remember that I have endowed you with the strength and endurance to press on. The power within you is greater than any obstacle you face, designed to overcome discouragement and dismiss the destructive habit of casting blame. Embrace this divine empowerment, knowing that it equips you to rise above every difficulty. As you journey through life, each step taken in faith is a step toward mastering your fears and transforming them into fortitude. The shadows will not overwhelm you, nor will the depths of despair detain you, for you are fortified by a heavenly strength that transcends earthly limitations. Therefore, hold fast to this vision of victory, never allowing defeat to dilute your determination. Stand firm, courageous, and undeterred in the knowledge that my presence is a constant source of support and enlightenment. With every challenge you overcome, your spirit will grow stronger, your resolve firmer, and your path clearer. This is the plan I offer you, a journey not just toward achieving your dreams but toward becoming the embodiment of the divine potential I have planted within you. Together, we will traverse this journey, with you continually enveloped in my love and guided by my light. You have been imbued with a purpose and a mission, a commitment that is solely yours to fulfill in partnership with me. Responsibility for this journey rests on your shoulders. Do not await assistance from others when obstacles emerge or challenges loom. When you find yourself in moments of solitude, without calls of encouragement or support, remember I am with you, and my presence suffices. In your path, there will be those who criticize, reject, and actively seek ways to undermine your efforts. Yet, you need not seek approval or acceptance from those aligned against you. My love for you is unwavering and all-encompassing, it is all you need. My grace is sufficient to propel you forward, to uplift and sustain you, even in the face of adversity. Do not measure your worth by the fluctuating standards of human affection but by the steadfast love and approval I provide. As you continue to walk this path, know that my blessings will follow. I will bless and enrich your household, surrounding you with prosperity, peace, health, and provision. These promises are not just words, they are commitments sealed by my divine assurance. Your calling and mission are safeguarded by my power, and no earthly force can nullify what I have ordained. Therefore, step forward with confidence, empowered by the knowledge that you are not alone. Your journey is not just a solitary quest but a divinely guided expedition. With each step, you will see my promises unfold, manifesting in ways that will affirm your faith and fortify your spirit. This is your calling, sanctified and blessed by my will. Let this assurance fill you with peace and determination, for your path is paved with divine favor. Walk in righteousness with me, uphold your part of our covenant, and marvel as the heavens open, showering your life and home with abundance and blessings. My love for you is boundless, and as each day passes, your love for me will deepen. Commit to this path and let me hear your resolve. I promise to lift you from the depths of despair and elevate you in the eyes of those who doubt your worth. I will ensure they recognize your value and treat you with respect. Though adversaries may rise against you, their efforts will be in vain, for my support is with you. I will shield your spirit and deliver you from suffering. Around you, my embrace will continuously wrap day and night, making you feel cherished and supported. You will never again feel isolated or forsaken. Remember, you hold a special place in my heart. I have personally sought you out in your darkest hours, offering you a love that is the most profound, pure, and sacred in all existence. Let this assurance fill you with unwavering confidence and peace. As you face life's challenges, know that I am with you, fortifying your spirit and guiding your steps. My love is a sanctuary, offering protection and warmth against the trials of the world. You will feel this love not just in moments of quiet solitude but vividly and continuously in every circumstance. So cherish this bond we share, and let it inspire you to persevere through every difficulty. The promise of my presence is not just a fleeting comfort but a lifelong commitment to you. You are never alone, for my love encompasses all, reaching into the very depths of your experiences to bring light and hope. Stand firm in this knowledge, and move forward with the assurance that my love is ever present, guarding and guiding you through every season of life. Embrace the assurance of peace, joy, and a fulfilled destiny. Believe in the truth of my words and the depth of my love for you, and let this understanding flow outward as you extend blessings and affection to those around you. Embrace a spirit of humility. Resist the pull of pride and never look down upon those who are facing trials. I have blessed you abundantly so that you can be a source of blessing to others. My love for you is meant to inspire a cycle of love that reaches far beyond yourself. It is designed to touch and transform lives, starting within the walls of your own home. I am fortifying you, not just for your own sake, but so that you can reach out and uplift those who are neglected or in despair, particularly those closest to you, your family members. Begin your acts of kindness at home. Forgive those who have wronged you and seek forgiveness for your own missteps. As you do this, watch how I will prosper your endeavors and mend the fractures of past grievances. I promise to bring peace into your household. The old pains and the memories that haunt you will fade, replaced by tranquility and understanding. Hear me when I say this message is directly for you. You need no further proof than your own existence. The breath in your lungs, the thoughts in your mind, and the beating of your heart are all testaments to my handiwork and intentions for you. Recognize the life you have been given as a gift and an opportunity to enact the love and wisdom I have instilled in you. I have come so that you might have life and have it more abundantly, a life brimming with joy, peace, and fulfillment. If you cling to my hand and trust in my word, my blessings will surely flow into your life. You have often sought to understand my will, and here it is simply put: I love you immeasurably, and it is my deepest desire to enrich your life more with each passing day. The world around you may try to shake your faith, wrapping you in trials and tribulations. Yet remember this: I have overcome the world. The challenges and adversities you face have already been conquered. There is no force, no power in this universe that can defeat you if you stand firm in faith, embracing my word and the blessings I offer with a heart full of love and humility. Amidst the noise and chaos that life can bring, I provide a refuge, a sanctuary where you can find strength and solace in me. You are not just surviving, you are thriving. Each day is an opportunity to experience my grace anew, to see my hand at work in even the smallest details of your life. As you walk in obedience and surrender, you open the doors to blessings beyond your imagination. In this journey, remember that each day is a chance to reflect the love and grace you have received. Look around you, see each interaction as a divine appointment to act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with me. As you live out this calling, know that I am with you, guiding and supporting every effort to heal, mend, and restore. Let this assurance fill you with courage and purpose, for you are equipped, loved, and called to make a difference right where you are. Listen carefully and grasp the significance of what I am conveying. A new and best opportunity is unfolding before you. I am inscribing this message deeply into your heart, igniting it with a passion that cannot be ignored, for it is my desire that you follow my lead. Now is the moment for you to actively participate in this unfolding plan. I am showering you with blessings abundant, yet it is crucial that these gifts do not foster selfishness within you. Embrace a posture of grace and love in all your actions. It may challenge you to extend forgiveness, especially towards those who seem undeserving. However, I ask you to rise above your doubts and reservations and follow my command. By choosing obedience, you will witness transformations that may now seem impossible, ailments that have long plagued many will dissipate, individuals languishing in hospitals will regain their strength and stand, prisoners of despair and loneliness will find their shackles broken and spirits lifted. This path I set before you isn't just about alleviating physical suffering, but also about restoring faith and hope. Your acts of forgiveness and love are powerful catalysts for a renewal, not only in your life but also in the lives of those around you. As you align your actions with my will, you contribute to a larger movement of healing and liberation that transcends individual experiences. Therefore, step forward with confidence and a heart ready to serve. Know that in doing so, you are not only obeying my call but also 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 obeying my call but also
You were so lucky because you were a star, but you cry in the lonely dark. And I'm sorry for what you went through. I always thought the lucky one was you, but the lucky one was me. I wanted to be you so bad. Your life looked like so much fun. The fashion lights and fancy things made it seem like you had won. But little did I know, you were crying all the time. You were hurting inside, when everyone thought you were fine. I thought you were so lucky, because you were a star. But you cry in the lonely dark. And I'm sorry for what you went through. I always thought the lucky one was you, but the lucky one was me. Some mistakes, but we're all only human. You were judged for everything. They put the blame on you when you were pushed over the edge. It ain't right what they allege. I thought you were so lucky, but the lucky one was me. I thought you were so lucky, because you were a star. But you cry in the lonely dark. For what you went through, I always thought the lucky one was you, but the lucky one was me. I know you made some mistakes, but we're all only human. You were judged for everything. They put the blame on you when you were pushed over the edge. It ain't right what they allege. I thought you were so lucky, but the lucky one was me. I thought you were so lucky, because you were a star. But you cry in the lonely dark. And I'm sorry for what you went through. I always thought the lucky one was you, but the lucky one was me. I always thought the lucky one was you, but the lucky one was me. told me in no time to waste. With pants, this, it's all the same. But I'm hooked, can't break the chain. We crash, we burn, we never learn, it's a cycle. I can't discern, but in your arms I lose control. We fall apart, but still I go. Here we go again, spinning in the dark, chasing every high, even if we fall apart. Here we go again, you and me were blind, losing all we got, but it's worth it every time. Here we go again. Here we go again. We know it's wrong, but we still pretend. Here we go again. You're my habit, my sweet mistake. Can't resist, it's all it takes. No future clear, just the now. But in the fire, we're burning out. We crash, we burn, we never learn, it's a cycle. I can't discern, but in your arms I lose control. We fall apart, but still I go. Here we go again, spinning in the dark, chasing every high, even if we fall apart. Here we go again, you and me were blind, losing all we got, but it's worth it every time. Here we go again. Here we go again. We know it's wrong, but we still pretend. Here we go again. You're my habit, my sweet mistake. We rise and fall, but still we drop. For just